Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about boy groups and why I think they haven't been as successful this year as they have been in previous ones. I don't know about the rest of you, but if somebody asked me what K-pop groups were dominating 2022, basically all of the ones that would come to mind would be girl groups. The success stories this year of groups like I.O.I, ITZY, and I.dle are really just insurmountable and uncomparable to any achievements that any boy groups have made this year, not only domestically in Korea, but also internationally as well, for being honest. Of course, this isn't to say that no boy groups this year have been successful. I know for a fact that 17, NCT, and Stray Kids are just continuing to grow along with some other boy groups too, but the growth of boy groups seems to be a little bit more subtle than the viral explosions of popularity that girl groups have been receiving. Now, if you asked basically any K-pop stan why they think that is, then I'm pretty sure a lot of them would say something along the lines of, oh, girl groups are just better. And though this is a valid opinion, it doesn't leave much up to discussion. So today, I actually wanted to dive a little bit deeper and try and figure out the reason for why girl groups are objectively doing so much better. I know this is a video that's probably going to create a lot of heated debate in the comment section, so I just wanted to say, though you are all allowed to leave your thoughts in the form of a comment, if you do choose to do so, please do it with kindness and respect. This video is going to be separated into 6 different sections, each one covering one different reason why I think boy groups aren't doing as well as they could be. So without further ado, let's get into reason number 1. So I thought it would be good to open this discussion by talking about boy group rookies versus girl group rookies in 2022. And I want to start off with a question to everybody watching. So can you name 3 girl groups who have debuted this year or late 2021? I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so the chances are you can, right? There's I.O.I, Kepler, Lesserafim, Billlie, newjeans, and that's already 5. But can you name 3 boy groups who debuted in the same time period? The only ones I can think of right now are Tempest and Extraordinary Heroes, but Extraordinary Heroes is a band, so I don't even know if they count. But considering K-pop is always debuting new groups, there has to be a bunch that I'm missing out on, but I just can't remember them right now because they aren't very impactful. I mean, I would consider myself to be a regular on K-pop social media. Of course, that is pretty obvious considering I've been running this channel for almost 2 years now. So if I can't even name 3 rookie boy groups off the top of my head, then you could basically guarantee that most other K-pop consumers couldn't do so either. And it's pretty weird because out of all K-pop groups, I would say that rookies are the ones that are most frequently talked about online. People love the discussion of who's gonna win the Rookie of the Year award at Mama. But now, we're at the point where people are saying no rookie boy group deserves the award. So I think it's safe to say that basically no rookie boy groups have made many waves within the K-pop scene recently. And the impact of rookie boy groups looks even worse when you look at what rookie girl groups are doing. I.O.I have just gotten their first perfect all kill on the Korean charts with Afterlike. newjeans' debut is arguably the most successful debut of any K-pop group ever. I.dle took everyone by surprise when Tomboy was their most successful comeback ever, even though they had just lost a member. The list of achievements that rookie girl groups have been getting and records that they've been breaking just goes on, and it feels like all of the rookie boy groups are being forgotten like less than a month after they debut. Now, of course, this probably wouldn't be the case if more Big 4 agencies debuted more boy groups. I mean, how long have people been asking for a new boy group from SM that isn't a part of NCT? But even so, we usually still get at least 1 or 2 prominent boy groups from a different company. So I guess my question would be, where is 2022's P1 Harmony, or Ateez, or Oneus, or MCND? Like, literally none of the boy group debuts this year have been talked about by anybody besides hardcore K-pop fans, and considering rookies are such a big part of K-pop discussions, that's a big reason why people are unimpressed by boy groups overall this year. So now we're moving on, and this next section is kind of going to be an explanation as to why people tend to forget about what boy groups have been doing this year. And that's because in 2022, girl group title tracks have become a lot more appealing on first listen, while more and more boy group songs are ones that have to quote-unquote grow on you. Now, of course, I could totally just spend the next 2 minutes talking about my own subjective opinions on girl group versus boy group music this year, but I thought it would be more fun to talk about the objective side of things. So let's talk a little bit about social media trends, whether it's through YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Twitter. I would bet my life. Okay, actually, I don't want to do that. I would bet $50 that a majority of the K-pop content that you guys see because of the algorithm, not because of what you manually search, but what these apps show you on the homepage or the For You page, because that's what they think you want to see, is content centered around girl groups. Whether it's a dance challenge or a Twitter thread or the intro of a YouTube short, most of it undeniably features girl groups. But why is that? Why do girl group songs create a lot more buzz on social media? Well, I think that's because they get a lot more people's attention on first listen. Because here's my argument. For something to do well on social media, it has to get people's attention instantly. If it can't hook the viewer in like less than 5 seconds, they're just gonna scroll past whatever they're looking at. So if a song starts trending and does well on social media, it's probably one that quickly captures the viewer's interest. So considering most of the trending K-pop songs recently have been from girl groups and not boy groups, we can kind of assume that more girl group songs are ones that people get on first listen. And a lot of the boy group songs are ones that you have to listen to a few times before you get them. But the thing is, not even just K-pop stans, a majority of regular people don't really care to listen to a song multiple times if they don't like it at first. Which is kind of why I feel like a lot of boy group songs this year have been getting ignored. Because if you've only listened to a song one time and you didn't like it, why would you want to talk about it on social media? And since I would say a majority of K-pop stans do this with most boy groups, that's what I view as the primary reason why so many boy group songs have gone by without much buzz. Obviously, there's a lot of other reasons why a song will or won't trend, such as the choreography or the styling, but to put it simply and wrap up this section, most boy group songs are songs that people will scroll past if they see it on their social media. And more often, it's the girl group songs that get people to click and like their videos. Alright, so this next section is kind of going to be a continuation of the last section, but this one's going to be about why boy groups don't get promoted as well as girl groups, even girl groups within the same company. I always see people who are fans of boy groups complaining about how their companies don't promote them well, wishing that their favorite boy groups appeared on variety shows or were able to attend festivals, guest on radio shows, basically just like normal idol promotions, right? And these boy group stans act like there's no reason why these companies can't just send their groups to make these appearances. But even as somebody who's not in the professional entertainment industry, it's pretty obvious to me that it's not that simple. As I just said, I don't know everything that happens behind the scenes, so correct me if I'm wrong, but for a group to book any sort of promotional gig, they have to actually be invited. So if a group isn't that popular and not many people are talking about them, then they aren't going to receive many invitations. Because if they invite an idol group and nobody cares, then they're not going to make as much money. Because a Nugu 4th gen boy group appearing on a show isn't going to attract as many viewers as a girl group that's popular with the general public. Inviting a popular group to a convention is going to make them sell more tickets than inviting a not popular group. And as we established in the previous section, most of the trendy groups right now are girl groups. So it's going to be the girl groups who are racking in the invitations to make all of these appearances. And though bad management is likely a reason why a lot of 4th gen boy groups aren't getting a lot of promotion right now, I would say that the bigger reason is that they literally are not being invited to make any appearances. Obviously, boy groups from the big 3 and HYBE will probably get more chances to show up on these variety shows, but even with the biggest and most influential companies, the girl groups are still going to be the most requested because they're the most successful on the charts. Boy groups from the biggest companies will still have really large fandoms that'll boost their album sales, but the girl groups are the ones who have a larger grasp on a wider audience. So no matter what company, the girl groups are still going to be these variety programs' first choices, and that's why they receive better promotion. Alright, so moving on from that whole spiel, next we're going to be talking about concepts, and the problems that a lot of K-pop stans have with the concepts that boy groups are doing. I asked some people in my Discord server why they thought that boy groups were flopping this year, and a lot of them basically just said the same thing, which is that they're all doing the same dark, intense, noisy concepts, which is kind of crazy to me because that's literally not true. But here's the thing. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what concepts boy groups are doing for their comebacks. What actually matters is the perception that people have of these groups. See, K-pop stans kind of like to separate boy groups into one of two categories, either noisy or not noisy. And once a boy group is put into one of those two categories, that reputation kind of follows them for their entire career. Take a group like Cravity. Last year, Cravity had two title tracks, My Turn and Gas Pedal, which were some of the most controversial ones of 2021, with a lot of people calling them the worst noise music that they've ever heard. And now, those two songs are basically all that people know Cravity for. They've been listed as a noisy boy group, and they'll probably be known as that forever. But then if you take into account the songs that they've released this year, things don't really add up. The two major songs that Cravity have released this year, Boogie Woogie and Adrenaline, are the farthest thing from noise music that you could ever hear, but since Cravity are known as a noisy 4th gen boy group, people who don't like that kind of music haven't even bothered to check it out. And since not many people are looking into these new songs, people still know them for the songs that got a lot of buzz last year, and they still think Cravity just releases noise music, even though the group has put in a lot of effort to try and prove them wrong. And it kind of makes me sad that people won't even check out new songs by these quote-unquote noisy 4th gen boy groups, because the perception that people have about these groups could probably be changed if they give their newer releases even one listen. I'd also like to point out that since noisier concepts are some of the most popular ones among boy groups right now, the perception that people have of boy groups in general has definitely shifted recently too. Since a lot of boy groups are doing noise, this kind of then leads to people thinking that all boy groups do noise too, which might be a reason why people aren't really interested in boy groups in general, and why rookie boy groups fail to get much attention. Because it doesn't matter what a boy group is actually doing if people already have preconceived notions about boy groups, which will make them not even want to click on a music video or scroll the second that they hear a boy group song. Now, for those of you who are interested, I thought it would be fun to list some non-noisy boy group songs, not only to demonstrate the fact that boy groups have been doing unique concepts this year, but also just to promote some groups I like. So here we go.
Scratch that, bring it back. 내 옆에선 똑같은 그대의 replay. What you know about it?
Alright, so this is actually going to be the last section of this video. If you heard me say earlier that we were going to have 6 sections, no you didn't. And this last point was actually first presented to me by my channel member Mello, so shout out to you Mello. And that is the idea that when compared to girl groups, boy groups are more so focused on quantity versus quality. I mean, honestly, I'm not even 100% sure if I agree with this opinion, but I do think it has a lot of valid arguments, so why not explore them here? So first off, I guess the most obvious example of this is the fact that girl groups have been releasing a lot more single albums, which will only have 1, 2, or maybe 3 songs on the track list, but almost every single boy group comeback will be a mini album or a full album with at least 6 songs. I know a lot of people who are fans of girl groups who release single albums say that they're focusing on the quality of the music and they don't want to put out more tracks just to have a bigger discography, with I.V being the most frequent example. I.V have had 3 single albums, all of which came with a title track and 1 B-side, so they only have 6 songs so far. And personally, in I.V's case, I guess you could say they focus on quality over quantity because I do like all 6 of their songs. But this is an opinion that's really just based around subjectivity and not something that you can prove. When it comes to music, quality isn't really an objective thing. I've seen a lot of people call I.V's music uninspired and boring or mid, so those people wouldn't agree that I focus on quality over quantity. And another argument against this idea would be the fact that groups like Kep1er are about to have their 3rd Korean comeback this year. And considering they have also had a Japanese debut and they're about to release a song in collaboration with that Universe app, with Kep1er, you can't really deny that they're focusing on quantity. That isn't to say that their music isn't good or high quality, but you can't argue with them that quantity isn't a big factor. So I guess my problem with this argument is that it's something you can't really apply to every single girl group or every single boy group, because it really is just a case-by-case thing. There are girl groups that are going to have 4 releases this year, and there are boy groups that are only going to have 1. So it's hard to make these general statements and still have them be accurate. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something here. I do think that there are some reasons why this is a valid argument, but for the most part, I really do disagree with this sentiment. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. Let me know if that's the case in the comment section down below, but yeah, that's really all I have to say. And that concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more content from me, consider subscribing. Before we wrap up, as always, I'd like to thank all of our channel members, so without further ado, thank you Opeach and ITZY, Woo Twice Tees, Dog, Saiyan Lover, What's OP, Zeus112, Flo099, Jackie, Abe, ZVH, Woo Youngie, Yin Latte, Jed, Soda Scribbles, Minacore, Adrian Wang, Shiny, Mail T, Mizu Molnorovie, Fix on Jung, Cassie, Frago Bobo, Gav, Adifa N, Irene, Chili's Cafe, Mello, Ale, Julia Peterson, Che, 97th Heaven, Frosty Plays, Julian Zalazar, Jay, Goyangzi, Alpha Fox, Edgy Does Things, Miriam, Silverwind, Namjoon's Lost AirPods, Julia, Ray, Q Can Love, Froggy Roblox, Kaylin Caster, and I.O.I. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and thank you all so much for watching. Without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.